I'm going to teach you how I make my sourdough bread.
Hi, I'm Jerry, and also known as Papa. So I just form it into a ball, drop it in.
Hi, my name is Jerry Wood, and I'm going to teach you how I make my sourdough bread. Sourdough bread is made with some pretty simple ingredients. You need your sourdough starter. This one's 20 years old. It was given to me by a neighbor 20 years ago. I have high gluten flour, which I get from Smart & Final, a little bit at a time. I use kosher salt, olive oil, and a little peanut oil, and I'll show you where that comes in later. Hope you enjoy it. Today we're making sourdough bread. We're in the first step of the process to turn this into this. With our simple ingredient sourdough, we're going to take 1 cup of sourdough starter, add 2 cups of warm water and 2 cups of flour, and pour it in the bowl. Let's do that now. We finished up our starter. It's all blended and it's smooth. Looks like a cake-like consistency. It's going to start bubbling and turn into what we call our sponge. It'll take anywhere from 8 to 12 to up to 24 hours depending on the temperature, depending on how warm the room is and how active your starter is. Normally I just cover it up with a piece of aluminum foil and then we wait. Hi, I'm Jerry, and also known as Papa. We're on the second day of our sourdough bread. We've taken the sourdough starter, 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of water, let it rise overnight and create something we call the sponge. It's bubbling and frothing. It kind of looks like a cup of champagne, except it's made out of flour. Okay, now we're going to take a cup of the starter for our next batch, and we're going to put it back in the jar. We're going to put the lid on, but we're not going to tighten it because it needs oxygen. Now that we have it into the jar, we're going to put it into the refrigerator for keeping for our next batch of sourdough bread. Now the next step is very simple. We take the cup. We're going to add 2 cups of warm water. I just use tap water. And we're going to add 6 cups of flour. They're generous cups of flour. Now the next very important ingredient is adding in some kosher salt. I'm guessing it's about a tablespoon. Next is we mix it. We're going to knead this for at least 5 minutes. This is a dough. Oh, another ingredient is we add in about a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Helps keep your bread moist. And we want to work at slow speed at first because otherwise you'll have a snowstorm all over your counter. You want it a little moist. Now, if it's still kind of loose and it's not tightening up into a ball, we don't add more water to this, but we add more olive oil. It is possible to have too much olive oil, but I've never run into that problem. Your bowl should be clean. There are times when I do add just a tablespoon or two of more water if it's not forming the dough ball. I'm going to continue to knead this for at least 5 minutes. Okay, now the next step is we're going to put it in for its rise. I like peanut oil in this container, which has, we have about 2 quarts of dough. It's going to rise to 4 quarts. The peanut oil has no taste, it's very light oil. The dough hook is clean. The dough now feels like, I can best describe, it's smooth and soft, like a baby's bottom. So I just form it into a ball, drop it in, put the lid on, and see that it is about 2 quarts of dough, and we're just going to wait until it pops the lid off. To slow down the process of rising, we put it in the fridge overnight, which slows it down. It has more than doubled in size, and now we're going to take it out and form it into our loaves. Now you see why you put oil in the container, because now it comes out very nicely. Ta-da! Okay, now we're going to subdivide the finished, after the first rise dough, into 4 pieces. We could just divide it into 2 pieces, or we could divide it into 8, or we could make one huge loaf. Depending on what your needs are, you could form it into a baguette, but I'm going to make it into a round loaf, like a sheepherder's loaf. Now, this is important. We want to redistribute the bubbles in the dough, so we basically just kind of push down with our fingers like that. Not much more than that. Then we curl it into itself and form it into a ball. Tonight we form it into a ball by pulling it around itself and tucking it underneath. Then we put it down on the pinch part on the pan, and then we're going to let it double in size. Again, we're redistributing the bubbles in the dough. Then we're stretching the outside. There's enough oil on this so it's not going to stick to your fingers. This part down. See if you can properly squeeze that. Now, depending on the time of year, we're in early spring here, you just dampen a towel and you can cover it, which will keep them more moist. But I like a crust on my bread, so I'm going to let it air dry as it rises. I'm going to move these over to the stove and wait and let them double in size. And now we wait. Now that the loaves have doubled in size and have developed a nice crust, we're going to do an egg wash on them to give them a nice golden color and good contrast when we slash the loaves to let the air come out, otherwise the loaves will crack and split. We've taken 1 egg, we've added about a tablespoon of water to it, and we're going to mix it up. This is an egg wash we're going to coat the loaves with liberally, which makes them look beautiful, and I think it adds flavor, it makes them taste good as well. Second coat. Final step, I like to slash the loaves in a crosshatch pattern like tic-tac-toe. And that's it. Now they go in together.
Now that we have the bread in the oven, we're going to bake it for 10 minutes and then rotate it and move from one shelf to the other to ensure an even baking. I've also placed bricks in the bottom to give a more even, more temperature to the oven. And I'm baking them at 400 degrees. It'll take about 25 to 30 minutes. Well, there you go. Oh, nice hard crispy crust. Let's cut into it and see what it looks like on the inside. The inside is soft and tender. That's all you need to know about making Papa's sourdough bread. It's very simple. I hope you enjoy it very much for years to come, and God bless.
Say like action or something.
Action.
This here is the KitchenAid mixer.
Okay, we mixed together our starter and we're going to create our...
Wait, start over. Don't have the tinfoil on your hand while you're talking. Think about what you're going to say before you say it.
It's all jumbled up. Hi! The bird wants to be in the video. Mm-hmm. Oh, should come back and show you. Let's start.
Okay.
Refrigerator with the lid loose on it.
You said let's loosen. Herbie?
Shh. This is a dough hook. This is a dough hook.
Excuse me. We're filming.
Delicious, hot,